Hello and welcome to the Holistic Witch's Cottage. My name is Melissa and I am the Holistic Witch. And today we'll talk about some updates at the cottage, a little bit about psychic development and clairs. And we'll start with a follower question. What is a holistic witch and why do you spell it with a Y? Okay. I am a very holistic person. I believe that everything is connected, all dimensions of your being, and this is very yogic too, but the union of the body, the mind, the soul, the spirit are all connected, and they're all influenced by your environment, and we influence our environment as well. So I'm very much into the interconnected web of things, not only in the tech world, but in the natural world as well. So the question about the letter Y. I spell holistic with a Y as a marketing tool, but also because HOLY means holy, spells holy, and spirit is at the top of my holistic interconnected web. I guess that's how I want to say it. Like for me, spirit, soul, and faith, and my magical faith are at the top of the connection, and everything feeds that, and it feeds everything else. So it's not that there's just an interconnection between things, but there's an interconnection with faith and spirit in the divine as well. I hope that makes a little sense. I'm not sure if it does. Okay, so cottage update. A few more questions about in our given political and financial climate, how can someone get started in the, like in the cottage witch world? We've all seen the memes. I share them too. I want to be a forest witch and live out in the forest in my little cottage with my books and my animals. And I've said before, my family our life resembles that a lot. We're not deep in the forest. We're on the edge near the forest, but we are in an extremely rural area. Now, my husband bought the cottage, I think it's going on 22 years. This was a tax foreclosure house, so the price was unbelievably low. It did require a lot of work over the years. So it was definitely like a fixer-upper house. So I'll get questions like, oh, you're crazy and you're talking from a place of privilege. You need like millions of dollars to do what you're doing now. I would disagree. I think it really depends on where you want to be, though. I think you can live a cottage lifestyle, or at least start learning basics to live a cottage lifestyle wherever you're at, because a lot of that can just be learned in your kitchen, or it can be learned by reading books, or listening to podcasts, or however you like to learn things, because we're all different. But the actual act of buying the cottage or buying the land and building the cottage, yes, you're going to need some money to do that. But I received some comments about you need millions of dollars to start that, all you boomers. I'm not actually a boomer, I'm Gen X. But all you boomers think blah, blah, blah. No, see, this is where I want to be more instructional. Please don't ever think that it's like condescending, because it's not. Now, it's certainly going to depend on where you live at, because real estate prices vary all over the place, okay? So if you live in a very expensive part of the world, this may be more difficult to do. I do not live in a tremendously expensive part of the United States. In my state, as far as like economically, I think we might be in the lower 20 of the counties. One of the counties that borders us is in the bottom 3 for real estate prices. So just like, hey, I'm just going to Google and look at prices of foreclosed rural homes, small homes in that county, which is like 15 miles from where I'm at. Okay? So I found 10 that were under $30,000. Now, some of them needed quite a bit of work, but some of them didn't. Like, if I wanted to invest, I was talking to hubby about it last night. Like, if we wanted to invest in like another cottage, I found 2 that would be worthwhile to do and flip. And maybe we will get into that in the future. We'll be magical cottage flippers. But so I found 2 that I thought were fantastic. One had 2 acres of land. It was a small 1-story house, cute, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. It's going to be a fixer-upper, but they did a lot of the work. It was $15,000. You could get into it with $1,500. Okay? So those opportunities do exist if you know how to search for them. But you may have to look in areas that, you're not going to find probably not going to find the $15,000 cottage with land, like in Manhattan or someplace like that. But these opportunities do exist if it's your dream to live the rural cottage life. These opportunities do exist. You just have to search for them. I think we got into this house in the cottage. Wonder Dog's up. Hey, Wonder Dog. I think my husband had to put, I could be wrong on this. I know it wasn't a lot though. $1,200 on this, and it was paid off in about 10 years. Yeah. And I'm not going to tell you what our mortgage payments were, but they were really low. So it is possible. So if it's your dream, don't give up. It is possible. And if you have questions, ask me, because we're really good at this. So let's talk a little bit today about types of magic and then Claire. So I said I was going to do an update. Okay, the gardens are doing good. Some vegetables are doing great, and some are not doing great. And I think it's because we've had ridiculous amounts of rain and then 100-degree heat. So I need to give a little love to the gardens today. My family of hummingbirds is back, and the deer have been coming on the patio at night to hang out. I put up a cute video of fireflies last night. I think I saw some pink orbs before I started shooting that video, hoping I would see more during the video. I'll try again tonight, playing more with reels. If I say that I'm using AI on them, I'm not using it to put magical effects in. That's to add the music, because I like to put music behind my videos. That's where the AI credit falls to. If you see something that looks spooky in one of my videos, it's probably not a camera glitch. It's probably something weird is going on. I shoot a lot of videos. They don't all go up. So, but if I say I'm using AI, it's because there's music or I've done something with cropping on that. Right now in the kitchen, I'm making a big pot of white bean chili. So I posted on Facebook something that said, like, you can easily Google or web search the magical correspondence for any food ingredient that you might want to use. So I Googled, so I screenshot what Gemini had to say, Gemini AI had to say about magical correspondence and cannellini beans, and it talked about abundance and prosperity and promoting health, but it was also like a more mystical, divine approach to like the tie between white beans and reincarnation and resurrection and new life, and I thought that was kind of cool too. So I don't know if Gemini made that up, but that was cool. But you can easily look up the magical correspondence for any food ingredient if you want a kitchen witch. You don't have to memorize all those because there's lots to learn in the world of magic, and use your tools, and that includes your phone and your web search. So let's talk a little bit about clairs. Now, clairs are psychic abilities. Some people consider them part of a magic practice and others do not. As a holistic practitioner, I do consider clairs or psychic abilities as part of my magical practice. And for people who embrace other types of magical practices, that's awesome, because there's many different practices out there, and whatever you're doing is cool. Okay? So here's a list of 8 clairs. Clairvoyance is clear sight. Clairaudience is clear hearing. Clairsentience is clear feeling. Claircognizant is clear knowing. Clairalience is clear smelling. Clairgustance, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, is clear taste. Clairtangency is clear touch. And clairempathy is clear energy or clear emotion. And what that means is if you're clairvoyant, you can see or visualize things before they happen. If you're clairaudient, you may hear things before they happen, or you may hear spirits. Same for clear sight. You may see spirits or things other people don't see. Clairsentient is getting a feeling that something's going to happen. You don't literally hear it or see it. You just feel it in your body. Claircognizant is clear knowing. And I have claircognizance in abundance. And when I was a younger female person, when I was younger, how do I say that? When I was a kid in school, I was very good at testing in most subjects, because I could know what was going to be on a test before I took it. I just knew what was going to be on it, so I knew what to prepare for or know how the teacher was going to respond to an answer before it happened. Like in the maths and the sciences, that was a little harder for me because they're not so language-based as perhaps English or history or literature or things like that. Sometimes it's hard for me to visualize math. But claircognizant is just knowing things that there's really no reason for you to know them. You just do. Okay? Clairalience is clear smelling. That is another one of mine. I call it my mutant power, my superpower. I smell things before they're going to happen, and I am very, very sensitive to scent. And I'll ask, the guys in my family, hey, do you smell something? No, they usually don't. And that either means something's going to happen or there's something happening nearby. For me, it may work other ways for other people. Clairgustance is clear taste. Thankfully, this is not one of my gifts. I don't think I want to be able to to do that, to taste things before they happen. I don't think I want that one. Clairtangency is clear touch. There's different dimensions on this. Sometimes people will pick up an object that has an attachment to it and they can sense that in other ways, but the sense of physically touching it has to be involved in that process. Other people can feel or touch things that other people don't, or other people don't sense. So let's say, for example, I go outside and I see something out on the cottage property that I may identify as spirit or fae. I can see it, probably hear it, know that it's there for sure. Clairtangency, I don't have the ability to touch things. I don't feel things like that other people might be able to, like, walk through a yard and physically be able to touch something that other people can't see or feel. That one's not one of mine, though. That's not my strong suit. Clear empathy. Clear energy, clear emotion. This is the ability to feel energy or feel emotion, sense energy. I am a professional energy worker. I work in Reiki and other energy fields. Yoga can fall under that. So the ability to sense and detect auras and energy is high in my skill set. So probably my highest ones are clear cog, the smelling, and the empathy. Sometimes clear sight and clear hearing. The touching one, really not my deal, and thankfully not the tasting one either. I don't want to be able to do that. Now, as far as clairs, I feel that they can be developed. So if you don't feel that you have a strong sense of clairs, that is something you can develop through practice and healthy food and healthy lifestyle to develop your own. When we talk about that interconnected, holistic web, if your body is mind, your soul, your body, mind, and soul, if they're all working together at peak performance in a healthy way, I think that's a good way to develop clairs if you want to. Just like sports, some people are naturally gifted in sports or music or art. Some people have natural gifts in psychic abilities. But, I absolutely suck at sports, but I can go out and I can play a pickleball game. I'm not very good at it, but I can do it because I've learned and practiced. I've been told I have a bit of a talent for music. Some of that came fairly easy to me. Some clairs came fairly easy, and some are very difficult for me. So it's like all things. But if you put time and practice into it, you can get better, just like most things. Now, how does this tie into a magical practice? Some magical practitioners are very dependent upon props. Let's just talk about a spell jar, for instance, because they're very popular online. What's wrong, Wonder Dog? What you need? Spell jars are very popular on some pages and some groups and on TikTok, and this is the crisis that's happening in my life, and I need to know what to put in a spell jar to take care of that. Some people like that type of magic that's very dependent on correspondences and tangible objects. That's not so much my skill set. I respect it. I think they're pretty. I rarely do a spell jar. It's not really my thing. If I had the same problem and needed to solve it, I'm probably going to work it out in the kitchen. I'm going to go outside and take care of it through motion and prayer, or I'm going to write words or a song to take care of it. It's okay. We all have our own skill set, and we all have our own strengths, and we should work within our own strengths to do that. If clairs aren't a part of your practice, but you would like to develop them so they are, that's something you can reach out to me about. I can go deeper, take a deeper dive into how to use other disciplines like yoga, movement, meditation, diet to help you develop psychic abilities. And then, we can take the dive into using divination tools with that as well. And I'll do a whole recording someday on different types of divination. But I wanted to end this one around the 20-minute mark, and we're really close. So if you have any questions for me, you can always reach out to me on the Holistic Witches Cottage on Facebook, which is growing by leaps and bounds. So thank you. More people are collaborating with me, and that's awesome. And once I meet the dashboard requirements on Podbean to upgrade so I can send out on Spotify and other places too. Some people have asked to come on as guests or whatever. I do not have the ability to do that yet, but when I do, I am more than happy to do that. I'm just not quite there in the dashboard tasks yet. You can also reach out to me on Gmail, the Holistic Witch at Gmail, or on Substack, the Holistic Witches Cottage on Substack if you're interested in it. More of my writing and coursework is going to happen over there, where I can put up a lesson plan, a magical lesson plan in full long format for you. So that's over on Substack. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Planning to move over to Patreon soon too. So things are just growing leaps and bounds, and it's all because of you, my wonderful cottage community. So thank you so much for supporting us and what we do. The cottage the original cottage and this new format of the cottage has always been about, or at least I wanted it to be about, community and how we can all support each other and make this world a better place. So thank you so much for being a part of that. Whatever you've got going on this weekend, be safe, be well. I think we're taking out the kayaks. Have fun. And blessings on your magical journey. Bye-bye.